the really good thing, as you no doubt all know about conferences, is not necessarily the talks. The talks are generally quite good, but when you come away from a formal conference, which has had a structure and stuff, normally what you find is that the chewing the cud bit in between is actually where the energy happens and where the excitement happens and so on. What unconferences tend to do, I hope you will find, and those of you that have been to unconferences, hopefully you will be nodding, is that the energy is kind of transferred into the sessions as well as the mingling bit. Here is the agenda, and there's nothing on it yet. So nobody knows yet what is going to be talked about. The other thing about unconferences is that unlike formal conferences, standing up and interrupting is fine, not having slides is fine, stuttering as you go along, as you might have noticed, is fine, not knowing what you're talking about is fine, standing on a table and shouting about a thing is fine, talking about something that's totally off topic that you think people might be interested in is fine, leaving the session halfway through because it's not your cup of tea is fine. So all of these things are good things. So basically, anything goes.
Hi, I'm Tash, and I'm here with Manny in the museum camp. And we'd like to know, have you ever been to museum camp before?
I came to museum camp last year, yes.
Oh yeah, so what's your expectations for today?
A lot of entertainment, lots of discussions, some controversial, some less so, and probably some cake.
I actually had no idea what an unconference really was until I came here today, so the explanation at the beginning was really useful. I'm actually really excited by all the chat that's going on so far. A few people writing down their postcards started off a really big discussion on our table, so very excited.
Very excited.
I expect this year a lot more people all coming together and sharing ideas. Right now, people are looking a bit shy, but they're starting to talk to each other. And I think once everyone really starts opening up about the problems and challenges that they're facing, and getting lots of good ideas from everyone else, I think it will be really valuable.
And what I'd like to talk in the spirit of cooperation is looking at volunteering.
And what I'd like to learn more about is how we can bring together the outreach things that galleries do for the elderly, for teens, to bring together with some of the customers we've got.
What are the main challenges in displaying and communicating archaeology now?
I'm interested in the announcement as of yesterday that the BBC made in terms of increasing funding for arts programming, with specifically a relationship developed with the Tate and NPG.
If you were to build something new for your gallery or museum, what would it be?
I think too many exhibitions are bookish, and that objects should be used more as evidence, and we should be encouraged to look and draw conclusions.
So I want to talk about how green is your museum. So if you have any questions about Wikipedia, any concerns.
So my session will be about my draft 8 digital principles.
I would like to talk about bringing children's literature into museums.
We're going to run a session on Museum Mix.
I want to talk about augmented reality. Is it overrated in museums, and what is your experience?
So it's sort of finding different levels, different audiences, and then finding out the best way to sort of communicate with them, so that you've almost got different strands of audience.
If you look at things like Kickstarter, lots of people are using Kickstarter for fundraising, but they're also using it to build an audience in advance of the film. So it's almost like a pre-distribution deal.
I think the answer to that is gamifying. The technology is just part of it, but actually everybody's right, the experience is the number one. Your content is first, and then create an experience around it that makes me want to get involved in it. Whether it's augmented reality, gaming, touchscreens, Kinect, Leap Motion, whatever the hell the technology is, it comes down to what is the trade-off for me to actually go and download this application and experience?
I'm here with Zach from Bristol Museums and with James from Orange Leaf, and they just finished a little unconference about augmented reality. So what did you guys learn today about augmented reality?
Well, basically the conclusion is we have to think longer and harder about why we're doing it, who our audience is, and where does that fit into our strategy, is what we all kind of not argued, but we all had loud discussions around that. And I don't know what James' experience himself, but it's the type of environment where it's perfect. to be able to kind of spend 45 minutes just talking about a topic.
Okay, great.
It's so amazing to be able to come and actually have that sort of open discussion. Everybody feels it's comfortable. The guy, may not have felt so comfortable as we're all sort of shouting different questions at him, but how fantastic is it to be able to have such an open forum and talk about interpretation and question the tech rather than just blindly following it.
So I'm here with Mike Ellis, our Museum Camp MC. And first question, how did you get into being our MC?
Into the MC?
Yeah.
Coercion, I think. Cake had a lot to do with it.
Okay.
I've done a lot of events, similar kind of unconferencey events, and I've run a couple of conferences, and I know Ma and I know Linda, and I think they, just kind of all fell together really. So.
Yeah, they lured you in with cake.
Yeah,
They're like,
cake,
they're going to be
cake was a large part of the equation, I think. Yeah.
Okay, and how the experience has been? Did you enjoy it? Yes, no, maybe?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love the sound of my own voice, which is useful. Well, it's useful for being MC, but I find I have to shut myself up when I'm actually in sessions here.
Okay.
Because I can bang on. I've been known to do that quite a lot.
So what did you get out of today?
Well, apart from coming away about stone heavier because of all the cake, as I said a minute ago, I like hearing my own voice, but I like hearing what people are doing and mixing around with different people and people I haven't met before, and that's it. I just like mingling with museum-y people.
It's brilliant. When you're working in museums, you never get a chance to network that much. So having a museum camp with so many different people from so many different organisations, it was a great way of just getting to know a lot of people, finding out what their role is, and then me trying to tell them what I do as well, and they were able to actually give me some pointers and give me some direction towards how to get into my goal.
Oh, that's great. And how about the experience of live tweeting?
Live tweeting's been interesting. A lot of people talk really fast, but it's been really good. Hopefully, what I've been able to do is go into the sessions and tweet a bit about it, and then other people have seen if they were interested in the same session, and they could sort of ask people about what I've been doing, and if not, give us a few pointers on it again.
It's been fantastic. I mean, I go to quite a lot of conferences in London, but I've never been able to go to a national conference because I can't usually afford the fees, and I have to pay for things myself. So an unconference was perfect, and I already got to run a session that I wasn't successful for at the MA conference, so getting to do things I couldn't do other places, and just having great conversations with people about stuff that it's great because things come up spur of the moment, and it goes from there instead of going, oh, time's up. So loving it.
It's been pretty good. It's been a little bit confusing because I'm not used to an unconference.
Yeah.
I'm used to conferences where they have like set points and set things that they want to talk about, and you just and it's just a broadcast and not a conversation. And so for this conference it's been a little bit more confusing trying to capture conversations rather than capturing just bullet points. But it's just been interesting.
Maybe it's a good training for your brain.
I feel like I've had to pay a lot more attention now today. So
Great.
Sometimes there are more, sometimes there are less, sometimes it's me and somebody else. But then you find somebody else has come between some of the ideas. I can see you can use it all kinds of ways. The beauty of it is contained. Having said that, I won't go on, but there are lots of like small business networks use it. So you have, I don't know what you have in Birmingham, but you have a Derbyshire hour, you have an East Midlands hour, you have a Nottinghamshire hour, and that's small businesses come on for an hour, and they always pick an evening hour, and they do that because of the convenience for the businesses. So I think you have to be a bit careful about your time.
There's only me in the education department, and then I've got Alice and another volunteer who are great. So there's only going to be about 2 or 3 of us, so we can't have too many. And obviously everything staff just don't work with that many children. It's flexible enough to just sort of narrow it down if you know that you're not going to be able to protect them.
Without too much complexity.
if I was dealing with users who I thought were more adept, then yeah, I would probably use a different program with multiple choices.
And I've never used WordPress.
Yeah.
Or,
It's
very
is it? I would say it's one of the easiest.
Doing a blog in WordPress is very easy, very straightforward.
So they're ignoring one of the biggest money earners for the UK.
I think they forget that if you know what you said about like if that's the audience that they think they're aiming at, that's quite a small audience, and there is a really big arts culture in this country.
And people will either just continue to kind of push against a door that is going to open anyway, or they will just accept that. And it's the roll of time. It will happen.
And one of the things that I was searching for just at the beginning was having a look at how many photos there were of Snivston Discovery Park, which is our science technology museum. There were over 1,000 images of people who had gone to Snivston and went, oh look, this is fantastic.
Okay. So this is your first museum camp?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
what did you think?
It's great to be here again with you, and thanks for inviting me. And as I understand, I'm the only one participant from Russia.
Of course.
Which is usual.
So what did you think museum camp was going to be, or what were you expecting out of it?
First of all, I was expecting a lot of cakes.
Yay!
And I got at least one piece, and it was great. And I wanted to understand how to organize such a conference. And now I know how to do that, I think.
Yeah. And what did you think about the unconference aspect of it, the difference between the two?
I think that people here in the UK are very organized, so they can organize a conference.
Oh, ironically, yes.
Yes, and this is different from Russia, where we need a strict program, speakers, and we won't use a chair as a stage.
You have no fun then.
Yes, and no cakes, unfortunately.
Okay, and what did you learn today? What is your biggest learning outcome?
My biggest learning outcome, I think it was, there was a great session about online collections, which I thought was really, really useful, about how they're not great at the moment necessarily.
Yeah.
So, and I think listening to people's ideas about how they could be improved was really, really interesting. And I'd love to be able to kind of explore that more.
I'm here with Mar, Dixon, and Linda, our goddesses, curators of Museum Camp. And I want to know how this idea came up of creating Museum Camp.
Do you see how I'm looking at Linda?
I'd been to a few unconferences, which seemed such a nice idea in comparison to usual museum conferences, where I often saw the same people speaking, and they often talked about projects that had big money, and I couldn't relate to that. And often I thought a lot of the interesting chat was actually over lunch, especially over cake, obviously.
Of course, cake.
And so I thought it'd be a good idea. And I talked to Ma, and Ma's the person with all the kind of energy and ideas, and she ran away with it, really.
The whole unconferencing was about getting people who don't normally come or who cannot afford to come, or so it was. And also I was trying to bring cross-sector into it, so I wanted people who just weren't museum people into it.
Great.
So the general atmosphere is it's a cake fest for people who like museums. So that is, you don't have to work in it, you don't have to volunteer in it, you just need to like them and care about them. So and then I just took it from there, actually. So it was once you find a the place to have it, and then it was a matter of making sure we had enough cakes, and we had sponsors for cakes, and KE Software came through for us this time.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a Heritage Lottery last year came, saw it, loved it, and said that it would be something that they would like. So we applied for funding. Yeah. Because we never even talked about year two.
Yeah,
We survived year one, and we were so happy with year one. Yeah. And then I think it was everybody else kind of took our energy and said, when's the next one? When's the next one? Like, I don't know, when is the next one?
You tell me.
I've had loads of people who've had to leave early today saying, I'm coming next year.
Yeah. Oh, great.
I'm coming next year. And you're like, next year?
Bake cake and they'll come. That should be our next tagline.
But this year was a bit.
that's the biggest question. Have you decorated a cupcake?
Not yet.
Yes, I have. I've made a massive mess with chocolate fudge icing.
Oh,
and
that's
spelled out
amazing.
Rosie Museum Camp on it.
Yes, I have. Didn't do a pretty one. Decided if you can't do pretty, you might as well do really scary. Mine was quite an evil face and ended up all over the table.
We need to augment our cupcakes.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'm yet to decorate a cupcake. So I've still got time to do that, right?
Okay, do you have any plans? Do you foresee any style?
I am looking at them right now and I think I'm going to go and do one straight away.
Okay, what is your plan?
I'm afraid I haven't had a chance just yet to decorate a cupcake because I've been doing the live tweeting, but I will do one before I leave today.
Okay,
yeah,
you better.
And I incited others to decorate cupcakes.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did.
How, how did your cupcake look?
Now mine, I used some of the chocolate stuff you scored on, and then I used some sprinkles. Yep.
Good choice.
Multicolored. So I kept it simple. It was delicious.
Delicious. Yeah.
I did decorate a cupcake.
Yay!
But I decorated it at 9:30 this morning, so I haven't actually eaten it yet. But I will eat it. I will eat it, Mar.
I haven't, but don't tell Ma. But I think
She's
I will
gonna
do.
probably
I will do
see
later.
this.
I'm quite frightened of the consequences if I don't
Okay.
put it like that, so I intend
You
to.
should.
Okay.
You should.
Good.